So you teach swim?
All right,
Yes.
everyone. Is it sleepy time or nappy time? Let's get going.
Wow, I'm so glad that breaking news instated nap time for this season. Remember when Hollis and John got into that explosive fight about Celine Dion last year because they were so sleep deprived?
Oh, yes. Luckily, as host this season, we get to drift off to the land of Nod safely in the arms of Mr. Sandman.
Don't talk about that. When I have sleep paralysis, a man of sand is always in the corner of my room staring at me with his sandy eyes.
All right, Bobby and Bailey, is it sleepy time or nappy time? Let's go.
Sorry,
We
treasured stage manager. Oh my God, I just had the worst dream.
Me too. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
That we need to analyze the current state of the Supreme Court by examining the judicial system of the United States through a satirical lens on a college-run TV show?
And we should go to Blaze Pizza after and get a pizza with all the fixins and see if it's taller than us?
Wait, what?
Hi, welcome to Breaking News. I'm Bailey Olmstead.
And I'm Bobby Pierce. Bailey, could you excuse me for a second?
Sure, Bobby.
Okay, I feel a little better now. I just have so much pent-up rage about what's going on with this whole evil man being appointed to the Supreme Court thing. My doctor told me that I need to let out a blood-curdling scream every hour or so my head doesn't explode.
Yeah, I know. It's a hard time for women. And I want you to know, as your best friend in the whole wide world and your co-host, I am here for you. If there's anything I can do to support you, just let me know.
Thanks, Bailey. I really appreciate that. Navigating the world as a woman is really hard sometimes. I
don't get how any men could be that awful. As a man and as an ally, I would never treat women that way. I've never even owned a calendar like Brett Kavanaugh did. I don't even know what day it is.
Oh my God. Well, there was a lot wrong with what you just said, but I also have work to do. After all, 53% of white women voted for a man who probably thinks Roe vs. Wade is a WWE match instead of a Supreme Court case, and a majority of them supported Kavanaugh's appointment to the Supreme Court.
And my mommy, who is also a white woman, never got me a pony for Christmas. I would have named him Chester.
The point is, a lot of us feel really helpless and confused right now.
These past few weeks have been a nightmare, and not just because of Bobby's weird nightmares about Sandman.
Seeing countless survivors of assault pour out their hearts only to be ignored by the politicians who are supposed to represent them is horrible, but unfortunately is not unexpected.
That's true. I mean, if you look back to 1991, Clarence Thomas was appointed to the Supreme Court despite Anita Hill giving her testimony accusing him of sexual harassment. She faced even harsher scrutiny from senators at the time. Not to mention, as a black woman, Anita Hill was demonized by the media and members of the public alike for speaking out about sexual harassment. Yeah, I watch PBS documentaries.
I know that, Bailey. You keep trying to get me to read your fanfic about you and Ken Burns.
So he's cool, and so is his bowl cut.
The Supreme Court and the judicial system in the United States as a whole are always put to such a high standard. I was taught in history class that judges are always impartial and can do no wrong. And I believed it as a white person who never really saw the negative effects of the U.S. court system, which is why I was the president of the largest Judge Judy fan club in America for 5 years. This is until my friend Avery stole the title from me.
But as we all know, the US government isn't as perfect as we wish it could be. For example, why don't we have roads made of chocolate? Another example, why does the judicial system allow for such corruption?
That's what we're going to be exploring in today's episode. But first, here's the news. A new dwarf planet known as the Goblin was discovered on the edge of the solar system. It's also the first planet named after Attorney General Jeff Sessions.
Tropical storm Rosa is set to bring heavy rain to parts of Southern California and New Mexico. Authorities have warned local wildfires to seek shelter and evacuate the area if possible.
The Ted Cruz campaign is mailing out donation requests disguised as legal summons, confusing some Texas voters. Not to play into any old conspiracies or anything, but there's someone else who sends out mysterious letters in the mail. A certain serial killer that's a big fan of astrology. Do you get what I'm putting down here, guys?
Music group Brockhampton recently celebrated the success of their newest album, Iridescence, which went platinum. This tops the streaming of their earlier trilogy, called Saturation, and their lesser-known albums, Spot Healing Brush and Polygonal Lasso Tool.
Many Australians are upset after an ad for horse racing was projected onto the Sydney Opera House. In other Australian news, you know what goes great with steak and shrimp? More shrimp. And you know what goes great with that shrimp? More shrimp, steak, and unlimited shrimp, starting at $15.99, only at Outback Steakhouse.
According to the lifestyle website Refinery29, cuffing season, or a time when people pair up during the colder months, may come early this year as Venus moves into Scorpio. However, astrologers seem to be forgetting that in this fascist American police state, it's always cuffing season.
Crazy Rich Asians is still showing at the Boston Common AMC, almost 2 months after its release in August, making it the 6th highest grossing rom-com ever. In the US, director John Chu declined our request to comment on the success of the film or my idea for a sequel. Lazy Snitch Caucasians, it's an autobiography.
A suspicious suitcase was blown up by Italian police in a Roman airport, only to reveal that it was filled with coconuts. Witnesses reported a very distraught Donkey Kong fleeing the scene.
A new series streaming on Amazon Prime follows an angel and a demon who must work together to stop the apocalypse. I'd like to invite those characters to start doing that in real life ASAP, please.
The NFL recently announced that they're soon going to be having male cheerleaders. This is groundbreaking because the problem with cheerleading was always the lack of men, not the fact that they're over-sexualized, underpaid, and not taken seriously. But thank God, I am ready to see some hot daddies in crop tops.
A piece of work by protest artist Banksy shredded itself in the frame after it was auctioned off for over €1 million. Banksy has teased some other projects in the works, such as a sculpture that tweets your credit card number and a painting that gives you bacterial meningitis when you touch it.
Residents of Gilbert, Minnesota have been told not to be alarmed by the drunk-looking birds that appear to be tipsy due to quickly fermented berries. In unrelated news, divorce rates among geese in Gilbert, Minnesota are an all-time high.
In other news, we need some sweet, sweet cash to pay for this show. Our entire set is made of solid gold. Here's a message from our sponsors who help us out with that.
Why did they leave me? Fast forward rewind was all I had. What is this? It's a call for help. So, will you?
Yes! Yes! 1,000 times yes!
Catch Fast Forward Rewind right here on the Emerson Channel.
Your one-stop shop for all things orientation.
Come see our shows live at 7 o'clock all of next week.
Can't wait to see you there! See ya!
So, courts.
Yeah, courts.
Tennis courts, basketball courts.
More like Supreme Courts, local courts, juvenile courts, you know?
Whoa, 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 stop the bus, Miss Frizzle. Juvenile courts? Like for little babies?
Kinda. You see, people under 18 can go to jail too, and sometimes kids are sent to adult jail.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Kids going to adult jail?
It's actually really messed up. Kids as young as 13 can be tried as adults. In a lot of states, there's no minimum age. You know what's even more messed up? The kids who are considered adults are often from low-income families, and it actually disproportionately affects kids of color. Bailey, are you even listening to me?
Yeah, sorry. I know this is important and all, but I have a job interview for a managerial promotion at Burger King next week, and I'm super nervous. So I actually invited my friend Slanky to come help me prepare. Is that cool?
You know what? I'm so dead inside right now, I don't even care.
Great. Everyone, welcome to the studio, my friend Slanky! Yeah! Hey, dude, thank you so much for coming and helping me.
Don't you mean Slanks for coming? But, I mean, I know the interview process pretty well, since I just went in for it yesterday and got rejected. I mean, I really hope you can get it if I don't.
Thanks, dude. So what kind of questions should I be expecting?
Well, you know, just the standard stuff. Past employment, career goals, anything weird from your past, desired salary, or, you know, just anything like that.
I have something from my past.
Oh, all right. You want to tell me what
I
happened?
peed in a water park wave pool. I peed so much in the wave pool.
Oh, are you serious?
For like 30 seconds straight. Stream, man, no interruptions.
Yeah, that doesn't matter, like, at all.
Also, one time, I called my teacher Mom.
One time I took such a huge dump that it clogged the toilet in the local YMCA for 3 days. Is that on my record?
Both of those are not real crimes.
Okay, how about when I took my sister's Jonas Brothers CD without asking? Or when I saw a movie and then stuck into another movie without getting another ticket? Or that time I went to Disney World with fake crutches to skip lines.
Stop. And that last one is really kind of messed up, but not illegal.
Oh, thank God. I was worried I was going to get passed over for the job or something dumb like that. That time I accidentally took my gun into Walmart and they just started giving me money from the register.
No, Bailey, that's not... Wait, are you serious?
I know, awkward.
No, dude, not awkward. That's literally armed robbery. You didn't go to jail for that?
No, my mom's a lawyer. They gave me community service, but the worst part is that my dad took away my Nintendo Switch for 2 weeks. Can you believe that?
Hey, Slinky, are you okay?
No, all of this is so messed up. I got arrested when I was 13 for accidentally taking a Milky Way from a 7-Eleven. It turns out there was a golden ticket in it worth $500. I was tried as an adult for larceny, and it went on to my permanent record. That's literally the reason I didn't get the job at Burger King.
Wow, that's so messed up and irresponsible on the part of the Mars Confectioner Sugar Company. Imagine if my quantum dump at the YMCA followed me forever.
I can't even vote because of it.
Whoa, you can't vote?
Yeah, since the value of the ticket was so high, I'm technically a felon. So my voting rights are taken away.
God, Slanky, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that.
There's a lot I can't do. It's hard to buy a house, get loans, and I definitely can't work in the government.
And statistically, it was probably an all-white jury that sealed this fate for you.
Well, it happened in Massachusetts, so duh. It kind of looked like a Jason Mraz concert in that courtroom. The juvenile court system is broken as hell. They try kids as adults, but you can get out of anything with enough money and white skin.
You know what? I'm quitting Burger King. I don't want their petty crown of injustice. You're welcome.
Okay, that's not gonna do much, dude.
Damn, nobody deserves to have their shit follow them, real or metaphorical. What can we do?
Vote in elections for DAs who want juvenile justice reform. Get educated about racial bias in our judicial system. Just do anything you can.
I'm gonna do that.
Me too. In addition, I'm gonna TP the shit out of Burger Kings across the world.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Maybe I should go talk to him. Luckily, I have time because we're taking a commercial break. Stay tuned, everybody.
When I arrive at my destination, I'm gonna kill Bill.
What? Oh! Okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of these lights?
Where
gaffer's tape.
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops, or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
So yeah, it's like Emerson's very own late night talk show. We've got games like Jimmy Fallon, and we're hot like Jimmy Kimmel, and we've got guests. I'm gonna talk to them. You can talk too, I guess. There's a live studio audience, and they're just gonna laugh at everything we say, and it's gonna be awesome. It's just this never-ending cycle of positivity and community and late night content. I'm gonna wear a suit. You should probably wear one too. What do you think?
I think you should drink up, because it's closing time.
And we're back. Breaking news is filmed right here in Kayak in the Boston Harbor. Pretty amazing what they can do with green screen these days. If you missed the beginning of the episode, we've been talking about bias in the United States justice system.
You know, after hearing about what some people have to go through in our judicial system, I wish we could just talk to a founding father and ask them what the hell they were thinking when they set this up.
Well, Bobby, I actually have a surprise for you.
Judge Judy is here right now in the flesh.
Unfortunately, no, we can't afford her. But we did build a time machine and sent our correspondent Avery back to the Constitutional Convention to get the inside scoop on the formation of American democracy.
I can't wait to see what she found.
I need a bib! I need a bib! Please, can someone get me a bib? This spittle's running onto my new American Eagle jeans.
Eagle is a big bird, is what America now says. Oh, the land of the free and a blue striped sweater. Is that some kind of mechanical printing press? I don't like it.
Is everything all right, Avery?
The short answer is no, but I found Richard Henry Lee!
Who?
It's me!
Yeah, but like, I've never heard about you, so it can't be that important. It's your musical.
He's responsible for proposing the entire judicial branch. Plus, he's the only one who would come with me. The rest of the boys weren't so fond of a time-traveling correspondent trying to get them to come to the year 2018. I almost got burned at the stake 3 times.
Oh, Avery, that stinks. We didn't realize it'd be so hard.
Do you know what it's like to be the designated driver in 1776?
There weren't cars back then, Avery.
Damn right. I had to fit 39 incapacitated men onto the back of 3 horses.
They were all drunk?
Do you want to see the receipt from the bar after they wrote the Constitution?
Watch out, world. She has receipts.
136 bottles of beer, 12 bottles of wine, 8 bottles of cider, and 7 large punch bowls.
Dang, my tummy hurts just thinking about it.
The founding fathers drank jungle juice?
Hell yeah! That's what we call Colonel Washington. Juicy Georgie.
Yeah, I suspected they started drinking before, though. Have you seen John Hancock's signature?
I want to go home.
Oh, yeah. I told them about modern politics.
What did you say?
Well, I opened with the whole 2-party system thing. Georgie, we're on a nickname basis, NBD, was pretty pissed about that one.
What a scoop. George Washington prefers to go by Georgie.
No, that's our special nickname. You're not allowed to use that. Anyway, we were talking about the Supreme Court, and I told them that we have Supreme Justices who've been serving for 25 years, and they were pretty bamboozled.
Wait, they're the ones who came up with a life term. Why would they be upset about it?
I don't know, Bobby. Maybe because they didn't have penicillin yet? Maybe because they died at 35? Maybe because they couldn't comprehend the idea of someone holding a seat in the highest court in the land longer than they literally were alive?
Okay.
And don't even get me started on the whole women being in the court thing, or the women having the right to vote thing, or the anyone who isn't a white male voting thing.
It's a shame they're so upset.
No, it's a shame they were all huge racists and sexists who only thought of justice, a justice system in a way that applied to white owner males. No wonder the courts are so corrupted and biased now.
Hey, things were different back then. Also, I'm drunk.
How? Not an excuse, Richie. Being drunk and old as hell isn't justification for the whole misogynistic and white supremacist thing. When I get drunk, I listen to a lot of Fiona Apple. I don't make a government that doesn't see the majority of people who live in the country as non-citizens with no writing votes.
Did something happen to your arm?
Yeah, they tried to haze me. I got pretty far into the process and almost became a founding father, but they didn't let me in after I said the earth was round.
Boo, the earth is flat, like one of those newfangled pancakes.
The only person I could get to come back with me was Richie, but they did send some notes. Ben is super hyped on what we did with electricity, but he thinks Disney made the wrong move by shutting down Club Penguin.
Yeah.
Hamilton would like to say thank you to Lynn for making him sound a lot cooler than he was in real life, but he's not sure about this whole hippity hop thing. His words, not mine. And the rest of them just kind of screamed for a long time, so I think that's a sign we're doing a bad job.
Did you happen to get anything a little more, current in terms of form of opinions from them?
Wait, I have something to say. I can't believe you guys still listen to us about all this stuff. It's been like 300 years? That's so many years. The world must have changed. I mean, this is talking for long and she's wearing pantaloons.
She's wearing.
Wow, I didn't expect one of the least offensive sexist encounters I've had to come from a guy who's literally been dead for hundreds of years.
I'm gonna yak.
Avery and Richard Henry Lee, everybody!
Yeah! Please go!
Come on, Richard, bring me to the potty.
So the foundation of our country is messy, to say the very least. But how does that history affect us today? We sent our correspondent Erin out in the field to answer that very question.
So, to be honest, when the producers told me that I was going to be doing an interview of my own choosing for the first episode, I was kind of worried. I don't know how to interview. I barely know how to read. The whole thing stressed me out, so much that I had to start watching SVU to calm down. Ugh. Do I love Law & Order SVU. It's the perfect show. The drama, the heart, the tragedy, the rapper turned cop. It almost makes me want to know more about the criminal justice system. Wait a second. So I took a little trip over to my alma mater, Harvard. I'm just kidding. I cannot stress enough how I don't know how to read. but the fall foliage was lovely.
Thank you so much for having us here. Really excited to talk. So kind of just give us a brief overview of what it is you do.
Jake Sussman, I'm the managing director of the Justice Collaborative, which is a group of attorneys and advocacy specialists who try to work in the criminal justice system to make it smaller and more humane.
So I know for a fact from all my research, from watching Law & Order SVU, that the criminal justice system is actually perfect the way it is, and that they actually do catch all the bad guys, but then in the second part of the episode, that's when they prosecute the bad guys. And I know I'm right, so please tell me how I'm not right.
So you're not right in a number of different ways.
Interesting.
Law & Order, the TV show, is, I don't believe, a very realistic look at the way the criminal justice system actually operates.
It's a TV show. Good to know.
Law enforcement, the police, don't always get the right person. Many people are arrested who are not guilty of any crime. The police and prosecutors are not always right. I don't think Law & Order necessarily represents that very well. And a reality about the justice system that's also, I don't believe, fairly reflected in that TV show is that it's better to be guilty and rich than it is to be innocent and poor.
Who are the most vulnerable in the criminal justice system?
The most almost anyone is very vulnerable in the justice system because
including Mariska Hargitay? Mariska Hargitay. She's like the cop, so she
Right.
she can't be arrested.
I should say anyone who comes under the thumb of the justice system is in a vulnerable position, particularly vulnerable. The people that we want to focus attention on are poor people and people of color, and they are vastly overrepresented in the criminal justice system. They are the people who are most often being ensnared in the system somehow, whether that means being arrested or prosecuted or imprisoned. Many people, the majority of people who are put into the criminal justice system are often there for activity or conduct that's not necessarily even criminal. It could be a status offense, meaning that they are poor and they're being prosecuted due to their poverty, and that could mean they're loitering in a place because they have nowhere else to go, or they're doing something out in public that you or I might be able to be doing in the privacy of our own homes that they're prosecuted for because it's a nuisance to a business or the community. And the concern is that the justice system wraps those people up and brings them into jails and prisons. It doesn't really make anybody safer. It doesn't actually solve the problems that exist that led them out there in the first place. You see the same thing when it comes to drugs. So we over-prosecute drug offenses in the war on drugs and fill the prisons with nonviolent drug offenders who really either have an addiction problem or it's a recreation issue. And solving it through the justice system has never proven to work.
I personally know that it's not Ice-T that is doing these things. I don't think it's his fault, partly because I don't know if he has the intellectual capacity to make these decisions. Who is in charge of making these decisions that end up with these people in jail?
So there are a couple of different decision makers that we try to hone in on. It could be a chief of police who sets policy about what the police officers are going to go out and investigate. There are enormous numbers of unsolved, serious violent offenses or sexual assaults, but resources are put on having police officers go into housing projects or shaking people down in a park for loitering in hopes that they might catch somebody with a small amount of marijuana. We think that there should be a different prioritization, and that would come from a chief of police. You would also see a district attorney, the elected prosecutor in any county, who makes a decision about whether they're going to prosecute somebody who's a 16-year-old as a juvenile or as an adult, or whether they're going to let somebody who's arrested for shoplifting do community service in order to right that wrong, or whether that person will see the jail cell.
This actually is connected to Law and Order SVU, and it actually might be helpful. So in the show, every single time, the prosecutor is like, I have to prosecute this, or the DA is going to have my ass. Like, the DA is their boss kind of thing. Is that what happens in real life? Do people feel a need to, like, live up to the DA's standards? Does the DA set the standards for the system in that jurisdiction?
So the district attorney who's elected will set the policies, will set standards about ways to approach cases. Assistant district attorneys, the people who go into court every day and make some of the smaller decisions.
The blonde ones. The blonde ones in SVU. They're always blonde and they're tall and they have glasses. They're smart. They know what they're talking about. Sorry.
So they're not always blonde.
Okay.
But anyway, they have a job to do, and they need to make sure that they're keeping their boss satisfied with how they're carrying that out. Every prosecutor, whether that person is the top prosecutor or the most junior, has an oath that they need to uphold and protect the Constitution. And their job as prosecutors is to make sure that justice gets served. So it's not to win a case. They shouldn't be keeping score. It's not a personal issue for them, or it shouldn't be. Their job is to make sure that justice is done, and that sometimes includes not prosecuting a case, even if they might think there's a chance the person is guilty. If they don't have a sufficient amount of evidence, or if they have to lie or cheat in order to make that happen, then they're not doing their job.
I guess Law and Order SVU isn't real life. But what can we do in the real world to fix this problem?
Well, part of it is understanding who makes these decisions. The system doesn't exist just because. It exists because people make decisions every day about where we're going to prioritize and where we're going to seek to punish. And so one place that there's been a lot of increasing attention is on the role of the district attorney. Every 4 years, there's an election in the county that you live in for a district attorney, and he or she will make a lot of these really important decisions. Historically, those are people who have run on Law and Order.
Bum 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 bum.
Tough on crime, bragging about the number of death sentences that they've secured, and things like that. That's never proven to work. It doesn't make people safer. And so paying attention to who in those positions is talking about safety and justice in ways that are actually keeping fewer people in the system, that's been proven to work.
So it turns out Law and Order SVU isn't like real life at all. But hey, a girl can dream. Okay, I'm gonna break down for you what I actually know about the criminal justice system. In the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are the stories. Dun dun.
Wow, so the courts in the US are somehow more depressing than I originally thought.
I thought Trump ruined the judicial system, but turns out it's always been garbage. Maybe I should have read the People's History of the United States instead of going on Pinterest in class last week.
I guess the real problem is less about politics and more about the foundations of our judicial system and our country as a whole.
Political activism can still incite change in our judicial system. Like today when I stood on the side of the highway with my honk if you love equality sign.
Sure. There are also more effective ways to change our government. If you don't do anything else, vote. Not only for us, if you're part of the Abby's committee, but also for politicians who make ethical choices. Check the voter registration deadline in your state, and if you're living outside the state, mail in an absentee ballot.
Yeah, and keep tabs on your senators. I have my senator's Twitter notifications on, so I know exactly when she retweets that SoundCloud link I sent her.
That's good. I mean the Twitter part. We will talk about the SoundCloud later. But it's important to keep track of how your senator votes so you can decide whether you want to support them or vote them out. All congressional voting is on public record. You have the right to know what they're up to.
You can also directly get involved with programs like the Innocence Project and other organizations working to reform the judicial system. If you want a place to get all your criminal justice news, look at the Marshall Project. It compiles all the need-to-know information in an easy way.
Which is great for me. I can learn all about what's going on in the courts while I'm taking my big YMCA bathroom poops. And back to voting. There are a few ways that you can make sure unbiased, fair, and non-creepy judges are put into office. 26 states' local court judges are elected by the people.
Wait, seriously? I wish I could have done that for American Idol. Katy Perry was the wrong choice for that judge position. Hate Katy Perry.
I agree with you there, Bailey. Sometimes information about voting is hard to find, but you can check it out at ballotee.org to see how judge appointment works in your state. It's like Wikipedia, but for ballots. Pretty cool stuff.
And again, elected officials are here to serve us, even though it might not feel like that most of the time. Make your voice heard, like Anna Maria Archila and Maria Gallagher, who confronted Jeff Flake in about his Kavanaugh vote.
Do you think that he's able to hold the pain of this country and repair it? That is the work of justice. The way that justice works is you recognize harm, you take responsibility for it, and then you begin to repair it. You're allowing someone who is unwilling to take responsibility for his own actions, unwilling to hold the harm that he has done to one woman, actually 3 women, and repair it. You are allowing someone who is unwilling to take responsibility.
But why are you being mean to senators for just doing their job?
Everyone, please welcome Timmy, the breaking news teacher's pet.
Timmy, go back to your apple polishing and let the real adults talk about politics.
Hey, Bailey, let's give him a chance. Timmy, I understand where you're coming from. I guess it can seem a little abrasive to talk to politicians like that, but we're their constituents. Yeah, it's their job to make decisions, but as citizens, we're their bosses.
Exactly. We need to hold our senators accountable, and we are going to show you how.
Since we're a performing arts school, we've arranged a little improv scene for you guys. Here's what you should do if you see a politician who's made a destructive decision in public. No.
It is I, a senator, who made a destructive decision.
I also made a destructive decision that my constituents would not have supported.
But we got paid!
Hello, senators. I believe you made some destructive decisions, and I have brought some like-minded people here to help me out.
Oh.
Bailey peed in the water park.
Whoa,
Let's get him.
Hey, oh.
Bailey, wait, what happened? And I heard Bobby takes big doo-doos at the YMCA. She drops her kids off at the pool in more than one way. Pee, pee, and poo!
Pee, pee, and poo! Hey, whoa.
Whoa, guys, calm down. We're not actually senators, but I do support your right to free protest. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight's episode.
Remember to check out the resources we've mentioned tonight and stay involved. Young people are going to change the world. Good night,
everybody.